Sound production, take 2.
So last day at NAMM, and we are hella tired. I'm here with my buddy Paolo, and this is his NAMM number
Like 9, I think.
1,000 or something.
My name is Paolo Angulo, and I'm a regional sales manager for Latin America and the southeast of the US. So I manage all the sales for Universal Audio, but I'm also a huge fan of the band. So I do beta testing for the UAD plugins and Luna also. So lover of UA, and I also work for UA.
Hater of NAMM.
No, I love NAMM.
So, you've been here 1,000 times. You still think that it's worth coming?
Yeah, I mean, I love coming to NAMM. I think relationships are the most important thing. So it's difficult to get excited about like new gear, new products because, I mean, you do it all the time. But I think having to meet the person, the people that you talk to, maybe by email or by Zoom, and like meet them in person and create better relationships. That's what NAMM really is about.
Actually, there's something really funny about that. Last night, I think it was last night, we were at this Gibson event, and I saw it firsthand. He was meeting somebody for the first time that they had talked over emails for years, probably, and they had never seen each other's faces.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really cool to actually put a face to an email. What is your favorite thing about NAMM, other than relationships?
Favorite thing about NAMM, other than relationships, well, I at least get to play with some of the gear that you probably see on a magazine or a website, and actually being able to touch it, like ask questions. Well, the real answer is ask questions to the people that actually work for the brand. So, and also that happens to me a lot. There's people that come in and ask me questions. I'm like, oh my God, thank you, because it would have taken me hours on Google to find the answer that I just asked you, and it was 5 minutes.
Definitely. And even if you go to like the Samash, or not Samash, but if you go to a Guitar Center and you ask the sales rep, they may not know the answer because they don't know every piece of gear they sell.
Exactly.
We've been there. We don't know everything we
No.
sell. We know a lot, probably more than most people, but we don't know. We don't have all the answers, especially when it comes to technology, which is a lot harder. Sometimes it can be a bug and you just don't know.
Yeah.
So you're looking for an answer to something that's not really have an answer.
Yep.
Anyway, so what's your least favorite thing about NAMM?
How loud it is.
It is loud.
I mean, and we're in the pro audio section, which is not as loud as the instrument section.
Drums is ridiculous.
You cannot
Drums
even-
is ridiculous. Fuck drums.
That's one thing I can't stand. Like going through that aisle and like, oh my God, if you need to go to the bathroom, I'm like, earplugs on.
Definitely. So a lot of brands don't have a booth this year. They're just doing appointments only, like Universal Audio, for instance. Do you think personally that it would be best to actually have a booth?
I think so. I mean, I think we definitely need more exposure, right? And be able to ask those questions, right? So we don't have a booth this year. We have just, like I said, meeting rooms. But I think this is cool. Maybe something a little bit bigger than this. And maybe we don't need to have every product, but I think it's important to have at least the new products. People haven't seen, like, this is the new Apollos, right? Or maybe the pedals.
Right.
Like have something to try so the guitar player can show, come in and test it. I think it's important. So we're not saying that we're never gonna come back to now, but right now we're not. Maybe in the future.
Hopefully in the future.
Near future.
Hopefully in next year.
Yeah.
Awesome. So actually, since you mentioned it, you guys released a ton of product last year. Like a lot. Like it was ridiculous. There's no way my wallet could keep up. NAMM used to be the place to release stuff.
Okay, yeah. So where you going?
But for some reason, that's not happening anymore. Like people release, like brands release stuff throughout the year, and then at NAMM you can probably show, like you said, all the stuff you released previously. Why do you think that's changed?
I mean, thanks to social media, obviously, and we, at least for us, we've been able to create a platform. So people love going to the website, the uaudio.com, but also YouTube. We make sometimes live videos. We do our own releases, and like through social media, influencers, people that create content, they basically make the content that we would normally need a place like this to do. So that's why that's the reason why. But I think it's still necessary to have the product. Yeah, that's the reason why.
Yeah, I mean, if you go to Fender, they're closed. If you go to Gibson, they're closed. Angle is closed. ESP is closed. Like, nobody's doing any business apparently, but they're doing more business than ever probably.
Yeah.
It's just you don't see it,
Yeah.
and you don't get to touch the stuff like you
Yeah.
said. So for a content creator, it's
Yeah.
kind of a bummer, but I get it from a business standpoint.
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult because for a content creator, you want to, go to the companies that you want to work for, or maybe you're already working. But let's be honest, in an environment like this, you can't really test a product because it's not a good experience for the customer to come in and like, let's test this guitar, this amp. It's like, there's 150 guitar players playing next to you,
Yeah.
and you're gonna have a bad experience. You're gonna be like, maybe this is not the amp for me, but it wasn't the amp at that moment because of the whole environment. So I understand why some brands actually are not coming and not actually demoing stuff. So
I guess it would be a little bit different with guitars because you can fall in love with the guitar just by looking at it and
Yeah.
like touching it and feeling it.
that happens to me.
And yeah, I mean, definitely. You don't even know what it sounds like,
Yeah.
but you know how it feels, and you know how it looks, and you love how it looks and it
Yeah.
feels. You're sold.
Yeah.
Like, even before I started playing guitar, I knew I wanted to play a 57 3-humbucker Black Beauty Les Paul through a
Me.
Marshall amplifier.
Oh yeah.
And
Me too.
when I actually got the chance to do it, I hated it. But I wanted it so
So you
bad.
wanted
It was just one of those things.
Yeah.
So, I
That
mean,
tends to happen.
there's something to do with, touching and looking. And
No, I agree 100%.
what would you change about now?
I
Other
mean,
than the volume.
yeah, I mean, I would say, having more specialized places because it's difficult because everything is open. Like in this booth, they have a demo room closed for speakers. So having something like that where every brand can have the open space for questions or whatever, and then if you want to test something, then you go into the room. So that's how they did it, and I think that's the way it should be in reality. Because you want to see the product, okay, but now I want to test it. Then let's go into a room. Maybe that.
Thanks for being here. I don't want to take up much more of your time, but last question is, do you think it's still worth doing business with NAMM?
The business that happens at NAMM is really a ripple effect of the business that happens outside of NAMM. So I think NAMM is becoming more important for people that make content and want to have that relationship directly with the manufacturer instead of creating business like selling products and having. I still have meetings with my distributors and my accounts, but I can have that meeting through Zoom or phone call, whatever.
Totally.
But for someone who creates content, it's very important to come here and have the face to face with the manufacturer, which sometimes you can't have over a Zoom meeting. To me, that's the most important part.
So off the record, would you say that the Sweetwater thing is better than this?
The Guitar Fest event, was it? Is it better or is it bad? I mean, it's very similar, but you do get to test out some of the stuff a little better. So I would say, yeah, maybe.
Maybe a little bit better.
Maybe.
Would you recommend it to a starving musician such as myself being here?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Straight from the horse's mouth. Thank you very much, Paolo.